Last December, John Lennon was killed, and it was indeed a shot heard round the world. Ringo is only now really able to talk about it.
Well, laughingly, we used to call John the wit, Paul pleasantly insincere, and George the mystic.
And Ringo?
Lovable chap.
What was it like for you when you were on that stage and there were those masses and the screaming and the cheering?
It was fabulous.
Not frightening?
No, never frightened me. It was fabulous, and people used to get crazy because they say they never listened to you. When we were around, the point was not to listen, it was just to go and have a good time. Why we gave up touring was between ourselves as musicians and human beings. We realized that it didn't matter what show we did, good or a bad show, we would get the same reaction. Everyone had their own idea of what they wanted to do. Now, you can't do that when the band is trying to do one thing. So you have to split up, and the three of us would have played on John's album to do what he wanted to do, and the three of us would have played on Paul's album, and the three of us would have played on George's album, and the three on mine. But that would have made it separate albums, you know? We weren't then interested.
Four people as one unit no longer existed.
That's right. We all had definite ideas of what they wanted to do individually.
And that's why it broke up?
That's why it broke up.
But this last year now, the four of you, we're close, we're brothers, as you used to say.
I've never not been a brother. I've always felt close to each one, though like brothers, we've had terrible rows. You know, but it was never, I mean, all the things you read in the press, like Paul suing us and us fighting, went on, but it never stopped the love between us all. And the music was always more important than anything else, to me personally. You'll have to ask the other two.
For people...
Isn't it funny when you say that now?
Yes.
You know, it's so new to me that I always sort of, it clogs you up a bit when you say, you know, because you're so glib saying, oh, we'll ask the other three. Now we can only ask two, which is dragging its wings, but I'm sure he's okay. I'm really sad. I still miss John a great deal. I'll always miss him, you know, but it's still brand new.
When you heard about, how did you hear about it?
Barbara's daughter called us up saying John's been shot. And so that drove me crazy, but you think he's been shot, he's shot in the arm, shot in the leg. And then they came back and they said he's dead. Do you want to stop that now?
No.
Because it doesn't help, you know, but it always gets me upset. Right now.
But it would be amazing if you didn't.
Yeah, but he was a great friend.
Tell us about the good time. When did you see him last, and what was it like?
I saw him on the 15th of November. And I was staying in the Plaza. We went over to New York for a while. And I hadn't seen him for a while because, you know, we see each other wherever we are. And he came over with Yoko for an hour. And we had such a great time because they stayed 5 hours. And it didn't matter, it was a year between, we didn't see each other. It was always fine when we did, but it was a particularly great time.
We know how this country was affected by John Lennon's death.
Oh. Not only this country, the world.
The world. But for you, I mean, for people who grew up with him and cared about, all of you cared about you, loved you, it had such an effect. But for you, it just must have been mind-blowing.
It blew me away. But you see, no matter how much it blew me away, I keep quoting this line because it's still an amazing line. I phoned Yoko before. No, in fact, I went into the Dakota.
You went to see her right after his death.
Yeah, I was in the Bahamas, and as soon as we heard, we rented a plane as early as we could, and we flew up to New York. Not that you can do anything, but you just have to go and say hello, and if there's anything, there's nothing you can do. Well, say, we're here, and, you know, you want some ice cream or whatever you say, because, you know, your brain is addled at the time. But I said to her, I know how you feel. And the woman, straight as a die, in all honesty, said, no, you don't. Because no matter how close I was to him, I was not half as close as she was to him. And that blew me away more than anything, I think.
And he was happy.
Oh, man, they were happy. You've seen, you know, they were two people in one.
When you went back to New York to see Yoko,
yeah,
you were so surrounded. It was almost like those days when you used to...
I was not surrounded.
I mean, the crowds and the
They were
people
waiting at the
again.
decoder. And there were people, while we were there, shouting up, you know, to Yoko, come to the window, or Sean. Where, I mean, in fact, it would have been better if they'd all left her alone, because they're not going to bring him back. And they didn't help her by having this whole crowd outside playing his music, which is, you know, fine if they want to do that, but why don't you play it at home? And then when we came out, I didn't need to hear people telling me how much they loved the Beatles or any of that when we just lost John, because I wasn't there to see a Beatle. I was there to see my friend, not relating to this band.
Do you feel that you're in touch with John at times, or
No,
that he's...
not right now.
Because every once in a while, with love, you know, you look up and say, okay, up there, fella.
Oh, well, I believe he's okay. I mean, I believe he's got a good place up there, and he's just waiting for me to come and play the kit. And that big band in the sky, you know. And I believe he's up there with Jimi Hendrix and Elvis and all the rest of them. Because they're probably the ones who stay out all night. The rest are just flying around in the day saying, isn't it nice here? And all the rockers are up there, hey, is it 9 o'clock at night? Let's get out there.
Are they playing together?
Well,
Is Elvis singing with John?
Wouldn't make... well, I mean, besides laughing, it's got to be a great band up there. Because we've lost a lot of good people.